improvised, found his man. The Aztecs have taken the lead with 1:06 left to play.
To the end zone, touchdown.
Hello, everybody, and welcome back to our podcast, Inside the Climb. As always, I'm one of your co-hosts, Kylie Freeland. Alongside me, Jack Powers, and joining us, as usual, Sam Popper and Caleb Davis. Welcome back, everyone.
Pleasure to be
back.
Yes.
Feels a little rusty. I just realized I wasn't even looking at the camera. I was looking at a little stand. So we got to knock off the rust and get back. We're back in the office.
We're doing the virtual podcast.
Yeah, I'm just glad
we got good at it.
Yeah, we don't need internet this time around.
Yeah.
We survived.
That was pretty brutal.
We survived it.
Yeah.
Did you have internet in Italy, like at the other spots that you were at?
I
Like,
did.
how did that work over there?
The Italy spots were great Wi-Fi. The Switzerland was not. It was like after midnight. It was almost like awful.
Wow.
Like it wouldn't work at all. So I was all data. So by the time I got to Italy, the data was awful. So if I wasn't in the Airbnbs, I'd have like no service. I could maybe text, but then when I'd get back, it was great.
Got you.
We survived.
I meant to ask you too. Are you struggling with the time change? You got back what?
Not at all.
2 days ago? 3 days ago?
Got back. Oh gosh. Got back into San Diego 2 days ago, but I was back in the Midwest about 4 or 5 days ago.
Oh, got you.
Stopped in the Midwest
okay.
for like 12 hours and drove back. But then, but no,
Drove back from there?
I drove back. Not bad.
No, it's
So-
not bad at all.
No, luckily,
It's a great
I
trip.
say luckily, but the flight all the way back got like super delayed. So we got back into Chicago, then to get to Michigan, where my girlfriend's family is, ended up getting delayed like 6 hours. So we didn't get there till about 3:30 in the morning. So at that point, fell asleep and was rolling, and that mix
Helped
up
you.
almost like fixed my time change to where then we were exhausted, took a nap, and then it was like 8 a.m. and then we were rolling from there. So good now.
Yeah.
Thanks.
What'd you do over your break?
So this past weekend was the only one I really left San Diego. I went back to Maryland, hung out with some of my friends. And so one of my friends, Kyle from kindergarten, like we have like a crew of maybe like 6 or 7 guys that like we've all been tight since kindergarten. He's got a little lake house out in the west side of Maryland. So like we all went out there and that was fun to see those guys. I hadn't seen them in a long time. And then I went back. I took an overnight train, which is quite the adventure. I've never done that before. From Baltimore to New York City, yeah. And then I saw my grandpa and my aunt for the day. And then I had a couple delays on the flight back, but I made it. Made it back Tuesday. And it was funny. Like that was the only time I left San Diego. That was the only time I needed to leave San Diego. We went through some options of places to go, and then we were like, is this really better than San Diego? And if not, why are we paying to go there? So we did it.
I will say it's always cool to carve out a little bit of time, go see friends, go see family, because we don't get it nearly
Yeah,
as much
it's
in
nice
our
to step
lifestyle.
out.
So it's kind of like you're once a year, maybe twice a year, you get to go see your childhood friends, and it's just cool to see how far this sport of football can take you.
No doubt. And like all those guys all live in Maryland. So it's like they see each other a lot, you know, like they're all back home. And so like for me, it's nice because to your point, it's like so rare when I can kind of go out and see them all. So I'm glad it worked out. But like, I don't know, I'll be honest with you. Like, I mean, we've talked about this all the time. Like, we're ready. Like, get back.
Gone way too
It was
long.
nice to have our couple weeks. In June, we were not saying that. In June, we were so ready to get out. Now it's like I'm so ready for everybody to be back in the office.
It was a
I'm ready to
great
get
trip,
going.
but oh my gosh,
We're ready.
once you like go like a week without being in the office, you start to get the itches where it's like I don't feel right not
Yeah.
Well,
being
you
in
guys are
there.
just so go, and then it's like
Yeah, I don't know.
full stop.
I just want to be transparent. I don't know how healthy that feeling is, but I agree. It's just like you just got it. Like
I mean,
I'm ready to go.
We're still technically off, and we're in the office
Yeah.
filming this at 8 a.m.
no doubt.
Because again, it's like it just don't feel right not
need to
being
be
in there.
Yeah, I came in on Tuesday and Wednesday last week just to kind of get the feel of being back. You know, like not healthy,
Just
like
sat in
just
my
did
office.
it. Yeah.
Well, I feel like there's so much anticipation around the environment you work in and just being in fall camp. Like it all leads up to kind of
Oh, yeah.
what you've been working for.
Absolutely. You said it. It's like you do so much the entire year. Like I love to say, and we talk about, it's like every day matters, but only 12 count, right? Like, and so now it's like you've done so much stuff that matters, and those days to count are like getting closer and closer, and like so just really excited for those. And then our guys, not this next week but the week after, we'll report to training camp, and then 29 practices later, play our first game.
Yeah. And how is kind of fall training camp different than spring?
It's you start to get the tune-up into the season more and more. Spring is more for development. Okay. Like, okay, let's figure out what we got out of the portal. Let's figure out what we got with some of these high school kids. But then you get into fall camp, and it's like, no, every single day counts because now we're trying to find the 22 best that are going to be starting for us.
Yeah. Depth chart, is a lot more paramount, and I think getting some continuity within the first and second groups is more important in fall camp. Mm-hmm. In spring, depth chart does not matter. So many players come into spring thinking I'm going to move up the depth chart, and it's obviously you can, but when we get out of spring, we're still 6 months from playing a football game. Mm-hmm. So it's there's no it really doesn't matter who's first team, second team. It's all about kind of getting the feel and getting your legs under you so that you can kind of go. And it's the same thing for us from an evaluation standpoint.
Yep.
It's not about pinpointing who your best players are. It's exactly what Caleb said. It's pinpointing what you have and what you don't.
And a lot of the times, the biggest jump that players make is after that summer weightlifting cycle, because these kids have so much free time. They've got summer classes, but more often than not, they're not in more than maybe 9 units total. And because of that, they have so much more free time to start to work on their craft and start to do different things that, again, it's maybe out in their free time, they go pull the jugs machine out and catch 100 balls every day. So you start to see those kids that it really, really matters to take that huge jump in the summer, that then they come and they're, I don't want to say a different player, but maybe have improved on a lot of their weaknesses that were apparent in the spring that now fall camp, they've cleaned up a little bit.
Well, you guys are building up this anticipation for the season. The players are now. How are you guys making sure you get the fans involved? And I know we're a couple months out, but I mean, you want them there for game one against Portland.
That's
need them
the
there for
last piece
game
of the
one.
puzzle.
Not a want, but a need.
That's what I've said, and it's really true. When you look at everything we have to offer at San Diego State for these young kids, for this fan base, it's we've got a great education, we've got a great area, we got great coaching staff, we got great kids. And we've got a great fan base too, but that's the last piece to where we haven't sold out Snapdragon Stadium yet. And when that final piece is there, now we've got the conference affiliation. We've got all the things there to where, again, connect this last piece of the puzzle, create an impeccable home game environment that these away teams truly fear coming to San Diego. And now we finally built up that next best West Coast program to where we are a perennial playoff contender, competing for national championships, because that's the goal. That's where we're headed. And I truly believe there's that one last piece of the puzzle that, I guess, Sam, I'll kick it over to you here in a second. But as we kind of finalize that full picture, I truly believe we're going to look back in 3 years and be like, holy cow, I didn't realize San Diego State had that much to work with.
Yeah, I always felt like, the city of San Diego was, has always been a really passionate sports city that is looking for their first major professional sport championship. And why can't that be us, right? That's kind of the mentality that we have in the building, and wanting to do this not only for, everybody in the building selfishly, but doing it for this area.
And we've always heard, when I first took the job, and Sam, I know you probably heard the same thing. Everyone always says, San Diego State, oh yeah, it's a sleeping giant. I hate that term now because there is no sleeping anymore. We're in the Pac-12. It's time to dominate. There is nothing holding us back anymore except for us if we don't view ourselves high enough. So that's the whole goal. There's no more sleeping giant. Now it's time to really cultivate that and turn the Aztecs into the giant program that it's always been destined for.
Can you imagine that Snapdragon Stadium? 35,000 it can hold.
Oh, yeah.
Really excited.
It's going to happen this year.
On a Pac-12 after dark game.
100%.
Gonna happen this year.
Really excited. If the football's good enough, then it'll be worth everybody's while. And I'm pretty sure the football.
And that's the exciting thing too, because again, last year we can say whatever we want. We were coming off a 3-win season. You still had to earn the community's trust, and I think that's something that, as Coach Lewis has gone out into the community, and as that proof of concept is now stable to where they understand, oh no, we're here to not just win 9 games anymore, not just go to a bowl game, but really compete for championship, compete for playoff berths. I think there's finally that proof of concept to where now this season has a chance, not just chance, it should be the most special season of Aztec football ever, in my opinion.
Yeah.
It's right in front of us.
Right in
So
front
we
of
gotta
us.
do it.
Right in front of us. And for us, from a personnel standpoint, it's really important that, again, everybody in San Diego feels like they are just as involved in this thing as us. They can learn about what's going on behind the walls. They can have access to everything that they want to have access to as fans. Like, we have the ability to do it and the desire to do it here. And I know for Caleb and I, it's going to be really important to, like, get out in the community throughout the month of August. We'll obviously have the time to do it, which we'll kind of talk about how camp goes in a second. But we're going to obviously get out in the community and, just talk to people in different areas of San Diego and, like, answer questions and talk ball and talk shop. And, obviously a lot of that fit into, like, why we're doing this podcast, right? Like, to give everybody, whatever type of access that they desire, like, to our program, because that's how it works in the modern era of college ball. It's like we're all in this together, and the community needs to be in with us, and everybody that wants to be in this with us can be in this with us in whatever kind of, role they see fit. And that's a huge kind of point of emphasis for us as we get into next month.
Yeah.
Super exciting. Well, all I think about is fans getting behind that paywall too.
Oh, we're behind that
subscription
paywall.
side.
Substack.
Oh, yeah.
Substack.
Before we get back to the show, we want to tell you all about the best way to stay connected with everything happening around San Diego State athletics and Aztec football.
That's right. If you're enjoying the We Believe Players podcast, there's even more content waiting for you through the We Believe Network Substack.
A subscription gives you access to every episode of the We Believe Players podcast, plus exclusive featured stories on current SDSU athletes and future Aztecs.
You'll also get recruiting coverage all year long. We're talking high school player tracking, player performances, recruiting rankings, official visit updates, commitment news, and much more.
If you want a deeper look into the players, the program, and the future of Aztec football, this is where you need to be.
And the best part, it's just $6.99 per month, which is less than the cost of a drink on game day.
Getting signed up is easy. Just click the link in the description of this episode or the link in our social media bios.
Once you're there, hit the subscribe button and you'll instantly have access to all the content.
Exclusive podcasts, player stories, recruiting intel, behind-the-scenes coverage, and year-round updates from around the Mesa.
It's the easiest way to support the We Believe Network while staying connected to the athletes, coaches, and recruits shaping the future of SDSU athletics.
Again, for just $6.99 a month, you'll never miss a story.
Subscribe today through the link in the description or our bios.
We'll see you on the We Believe Network, and right back to the show.
No, you guys put together a really, really cool product that, again, that's everything. That's why we do this podcast. That's why the We Believe Players pod and all the things is how can we give this inside look that, again, not all fan bases have.
No.
And that's something to where we're really, really passionate and continuing to connect this city. And again, like, it all starts with the head man up top. There's a reason why Coach Lewis sat on one of the first podcasts here, and it's why we're going to continue to do things every single day, every single week leading into this season to make sure this season is as special as it should be.
And one of those events, too, that fans can get out to is the Broken Yoke.
August 1st. August 1st.
August 1st at 12 p.m.
Come watch our guys eat some burritos.
Sam, you want to give some background on that?
Oh, yeah, this would be a lot of fun. So what we wanted to do is basically have, some of our guys get out to some places on campus and engage a little bit with some of our local eating establishments. And the Broken Yoke's done a lot for us as far as catering, feeding the guys. They've been awesome to us. And it was some of our guys, actually some of the players' idea to, like, come out and do a little eating competition. They'll kind of get their favorite burritos set. The place will cook it up, and then we'll see how many they can chow down if they get ready for camp. It'll be a lot of fun. We'll have some, we'll have some old linemen out there. It'll be a pretty fun time, and I'm super excited for it.
I think I heard Jack Powers. You're gonna have one too.
6-0 lineman and Jack Powers. You could
probably beat him, honestly.
You can bet on Jack Powers for plus
the power hour.
25.
The power hour. The power hour. Oh my gosh.
But I mean, get into a little bit about fall camp. I know you talked about the difference between it, but why are you guys going to be a little bit more available to get in community because of fall camp? And
so this is the really fun part about fall camp. August is the only month in a year where there is no on-campus activity and coaches are entirely coaching. Not to say like coaches aren't recruiting, but in terms of what the schedule is, that is the coaching month, right? Every day when you're in the season is you're in your weekly routine. When you're in fall camp, every day is getting ready for that season. So like that is the most grueling time from a coaching standpoint and from a player standpoint as far as hours allotted in the day. So for us in personnel, that gives us time to focus on our internal practices because coaches are coaching, it's practice every day, and there are no recruits on campus. So August is a huge month, I feel like, in recruiting departments everywhere, where you can either get ahead or behind. Like that's your time to self-assess. That's your time to improve your processes. That's your time to prep for the season. That's your time to everything that's going to come up in the next 5, 6, 7 months, really up until spring ball, that you feel like you need to get ahead of and not really procrastinate on. August is your month to do that. And so that's been a really fun month for me because you can really kind of put your head down and just roll on stuff that you like to roll on. And so for us, obviously that's a lot of time in prepping for everything that we're going to do during the season. That's prepping for kind of what the winter's going to look like and getting into the portal window and everything of that nature, even though that's so far out ahead. Like, Caleb and I have already talked about a lot of, long-term projects and how we're going to do our scouting and how we're going to innovate those processes and how we're going to have a little bit more of a lay of the land. Obviously, August is time for us to actually do the groundwork and getting ahead on those projects. And obviously transitioning to what you were talking about, Jack, that gives us a lot of time to get involved with the community, do a lot of different events around San Diego, talk to different people and answer questions, and just have a lot of different types of engagement, right, from our fans because there's no recruits on campus and, the coaches are doing a lot of this stuff. So, for us, that could be a really productive thing that we'll have the time to do.
It's kind of one of those periods where I always talk a lot about, the actual GM job, 99% of it is either doing things with a long-term vision where trying to do things today to set up success 3 to 5 years from now, or it's putting out the day-to-day fires, which might be hosting an on-campus visit. I might be having this meeting, might be doing these things. August is the one time of the year that those short-term fires don't really pop up. So you get so much time to focus on that long-term vision or, like Sam said, getting out in the community and building excitement for the year. So it really is that one chance where we get to just, have a good plan in place. Let's focus on the future. Let's focus on this season and not be bogged down with the day-to-day running around where you're just trying to make the engine keep rolling. Because naturally you're going to have a lot of those moments in every other part of the year.
Yeah, I've always found the dynamic so funny because obviously the coaches are so locked in their own jobs. Like a lot of times, I don't know if you've experienced this, Caleb, in other spots, but you'll be in the office just like the coaches are, right? I mean, for the fans out there that don't know, coaches are in the office till, 1, 2 in the morning, midnight, every day during camp. And for us, what's that?
It's could be living in them.
Right, exactly. And for us, it's really similar. Yeah. And I've had conversations with coaches all the time because, we'll be in the office at 11, 11:30, 12 at night, pretty much every night. And the coach is like, what are you doing here? You right? Because we don't have to obviously practice prep for the next day and grade film and all that other stuff. But it's funny because then they ask those questions. But then if stuff that we need to do for day to day in October and November aren't done, they'll be the first ones to look at us and be like, well, why isn't this done? Mm-hmm. But it's that's what we were doing when you were sitting there what are you doing in the office on August, right? We're prepping all those things.
I think August can really separate personnel departments.
Yeah,
because that's where, again, you have more free. Honestly, it's very similar to we just talked about the players that make the jump in summer.
Right.
You have all this free time, and you
said.
can either sit there and just wait, or you can sit there, prep, and get ready, and that way you'll be better 3 months from now. So that's really what August is. It's getting out into the community. It's finding our long-term projects and getting prepped and ready and just making sure we're in a really, really good spot probably 3 to 4 months from now. That way, when the bullets do come flying, because they're going to come flying, we're ready and prepared for it.
I didn't think about that analogy. That was a great analogy. That was awesome.
What do you think the most important thing that you guys need to be prepared for on game day is that maybe something fans wouldn't know?
Oh, I would say from a just recruiting department standpoint, like for home games when, there's visitors and all that, you're doing a lot of like, event planning and like crowd management. Like, I don't know if this was meant to be the direction of the question, but like the one interesting thing that like that took me to is like, recruits they'll do some sort of a pregame event. They'll come on the field and like watch our guys warm up. And I always find it like one of the things you never think about, but it's always prevalent. Somebody will be standing like close to the end zone and we know the pregame routine and we know they're about to start throwing go balls. And I always envision, right, death in a dream, right, that all of a sudden someone's going to be running a go ball, some recruit's parent wants to take a photo in the end zone, kabam,
Twist
and
an ankle.
bam, like.
They're right up against it.
So it's like, kind of those types of things are stuff that you think about all the time. Where do you have people? Where do you direct them? When you bring out the crew, do you bring them all out in one spot and then divide them up by position? Because, of course, they want to watch their own position. Or do you bring them out that way? Is it in a different order? Like all those kind of little details. Then when do you bring them up to their seats? And how does that impact fans that are sitting up in section 321 but they want to come down and watch warm-ups, so they're sitting there, and how do you monitor that area? And if somebody's a little intoxicated, how do you make sure they're out of the section in a way that doesn't mess with your recruits? Like all these kind of little things are things that we think about and like prep for all the time, going into a game that maybe people don't think about.
Yeah, and that's one thing I love Snapdragon Stadium because the way they built it, there's so much sideline space. So I've been to some places that, again, you just don't have sideline space because the way the stadium's built, and you are, like, when Sam's talking about panicking about not being on the field, like, you are panicking about just everything. So, yeah, no, Sam, you're spot on with that.
Oh, there's little things.
The other thing that I think that recruiting departments and personnel departments kind of think of on game day is just, like, find value. Like, whatever it is within the game landscape where – I've sat there, charted D-line coaches' reps to make sure all their guys, like, no one's getting overworked. And just whatever you can do, like, that's almost my advice. I don't know if there's any younger people in personnel listening to this, probably not. But if there were, just ask around, figure out how you can be useful to the program. Because once the game kicks off, like, I remember, especially at Notre Dame, where you might have 100 kids on campus, like, the game would kick off, and it's almost like a breath of fresh air. It's like, okay, now we're done. But it's like, wait, no, the game just kicked off. How do you go do something else to keep helping the program? And that's what I'm always trying to think of is what is not being thought of on game day. And it might be helping chart the GAs. It might be helping, I don't know, a million different things.
You can stand behind, the huddle at certain, on road games, for example. It's a big one. And like, stand behind the huddle holding something so that, the fans can't see what the coach is talking about or drawing up. Or, same thing, you're holding something so that the coach is up top on the other side, like can't see, the signals or the communication on your sideline. Like there's always something.
That's the biggest thing for me. I'm always trying to think of is just at that point, the game kicks off, like how do you just find value?
Yep. I've seen you on the sideline during the game.
Oh,
Energizer Bunny.
That's definitely one of them. Hey, as we found out before the show kicked off, 5 cups of coffee is actually good for heart health. A new study came out, so
10 cups of coffee on game day, doubling it.
Probably 12.
Ooh.
Caffeine intake on game day is something that is.
Yeah, let's talk about that.
I would argue.
I can't because I think my mom might listen to the pod. I don't want to talk about it. My mom.
I would argue my average over/under on caffeine intake on game days is probably 1,200 milligrams.
Yeah, I was gonna say 1,000.
I'd say.
So I guess 1,000 milligrams, just math purposes, that's 1 gram.
Because how much is one Monster? Like 200?
Yeah, like.
And a cup of
150.
coffee is like 100.
So my thing is, I we don't have a sponsorship deal with them yet, so I don't want to sit here and plug anybody. But like the Reign is the that's the my premier like game day energy drink because you get 300 in the I don't know what's that bottle to can. Big can guy, and so I'll usually have one when I wake up, then I'll have one right before we go into pregame, and then something kind of in the middle, and then usually something at halftime. So that would kind of be probably around 1 milligram.
See, the tough thing
or 1 gram.
The tough thing that I had to adjust to last year is that we do so many night games. So for me,
I'm think about that.
So I'll probably drink. I usually come in on game day and celebrate with like a quad shot, something insane, just like
Celebrate.
yes, it's game day. So like 4
One of
shots
those-
of espresso and a
It's
latte.
only 12 days a year
Yep.
that you are guaranteed to count.
Well,
you have to celebrate those.
And
days.
I will say too, fall isn't fall without a pumpkin spice latte from Starbucks. So
I'll agree with
I might
that.
come in with a
Wow.
little PSL with like 5 shots of espresso in there, and then
I
and
forgot we
then
played
that
so many
kicks me
night
off.
games. That is legitimately.
But
more
then I'll
caffeine
probably
for a night
drink
game.
1 energy drink and another 4 coffees throughout the day, and then we get to the stadium, and then I'll probably down another energy drink beforehand, 1 at halftime. So all in all, that's probably about 1,300 milligrams
How
right there.
are you able to go back home and go to sleep?
So it's depends. I mean,
Oh,
either
yeah,
either
yeah.
you win and you celebrate, or you lose and you stay up all night thinking about all the things that could have changed. So probably not sleeping much anyway.
Yeah, you know what I think too. It's like you have so much of this like, you know, you just so much of this energy like mentally that like you pour into the game. I know everybody kind of like attacks it differently, but like for me, it's like you care so much about like those moments because they matter so much that in my mind it's like all the kind of I don't know whatever some science term the caffeine gives you right about like whatever energy it is. It's kind of like all pent up in my mind. It's all invested in the scope of the game.
Yes.
Once the game's over, then it's the result of the game that carries me from there, right? It's the you know celebration if you win, and it's the you know lack of celebration obviously if you don't. And from there, like that energy kind of rides me out through the day. Like at that point, I'm not really thinking about kind of the caffeine side of it anymore. I'm not really sure why that is, but like I just that's what it is for me. Like I've never felt the effects of caffeine after a game, even if I take 200 milligrams at halftime. Which is kind of, I know that's not sciencey, but I don't know, that's how it's always been for me.
No, you're spot on.
And I think
You're-
that's why in the football community, I don't actually know if everybody does it, but obviously a lot of people that I know, and obviously we haven't talked about this before we talked about this, but like it just happens to be, you know, 2 guys that just see caffeine the same way. Like I think that's why everybody does, because like it just like carries you in and it kind of helps you stay afloat, and then the game got you from there.
I always joke about it, like, because when people talk about like, oh, you drink way too much caffeine, you're gonna die. It's like, yeah, maybe, but I always say, I always talk about like comparing it to a marathon. It's like, yeah, just drink a bunch of caffeine during the day because it's like prepping me for game day, where game day's the marathon. And honestly, like, it's actually like partially true that you drink so much caffeine that you get so pent up that throughout the 3 hours of the game, by the end of it, you're kind of exhausted.
Hey, here's my question for you people, that you coffee people.
Yes.
Why is it that, because obviously I like caffeine just like the next, you know, guy or girl. Like, why do the coffee people need to do that immediately? Like, I don't wake up and think, oh, I have to have caffeine right now. I get started with my morning, and whenever it's available, I just have caffeine, but I'm not like dead in the water until I have like an energy drink. Why are coffee
I'm not
people
dead in the water. I'm
I
not
think
like
it's
Caleb.
something that, well, I'm not either. I don't drink coffee until I drive in, and I stop for coffee on the way. But it's kind of like something to kickstart your day.
But what if you didn't like?
My parents are like how you say, like they literally wake up and have to drink coffee.
Yeah, like
I don't know why.
So what's your morning
It's
routine?
enjoyable for me.
I think
Okay,
it's
that's
nice.
routine.
It's warm.
Like, we just got an espresso machine.
So I wake up. This is where I'm actually struggling currently. I have to, like, okay, have to is a strong word here. I find the urge/need to check Twitter for like 12 minutes when I wake up.
Okay.
Like, I will purposefully set my alarm to 12 minutes before when I actually need to get up and literally scroll through Twitter. And I don't know why, but that is my transition from dazed and confused to like fully awake.
So mine is, I've got my high school buddies group chat, and we always do like the Geo Sports guest game that I showed you.
Yeah.
And we do another one where it's stat pad for football, and you get to pick like basically best years from these 5 like categories that they choose. Long story short, but anyway, so that's like my like turn on my brain, because they're all East Coast time. So I look down at my phone.
Oh, so they're all
They
okay.
usually have started sending over in the morning, and then I'll go do mine. And now I'm like, okay, I'm up. Time to take the dogs out.
How do I say? See, I wish I could do something of that nature, but like, I don't know how else to say. Like, I legitimately, and maybe it's just like how I wake up or how I've like grown to wake up. Like, I am somewhat like dazed and confused. Like, I don't think I could legitimately, like, do Geosport, especially because that you get one crack a day.
Right.
And if it's not good, it's not good. Like, I feel like the scrolling is almost like a transition between, like, something that I can kind of read, but it doesn't really matter. It isn't factual. So if I, like, can't get it, like, that's okay. And then once I'm fully awake, now
I
I'm
mean, with
ready
the
to.
Twitter feed, it's pretty curated to.
That puts me
I'm
back
sure
to sleep though.
football.
Yeah,
It's
sure.
Like your
So
interests.
like I got back into a routine, and if I don't need to get up, I'll go back to sleep. So that's why I do like Geosports.
Oh, so you gotta, like, hop
because it
up.
actually like gets the brain going.
Yeah.
Because like this morning, for example, I'm trying to stay in the routine, been in. I'm getting up at like 5:15, and alarm goes off. I wake up, I like sit up. It's like 5:10, and I just kind of was like look around, like I don't need to get up right now. So I went back to bed until about 6, and then at 6, I actually looked at my phone and saw one of them text over their score. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna get up and start doing this.
Yeah, I would like to get to something of that. The one thing I'm trying to transition to is reading something in that time instead of the Twitter. You know,
That's hard though.
Like, do you have like a book right by your bed?
that is the problem. Is have I actually been a reader for long periods of my life? So we have to start by getting a book. That's
You don't
number
have a
one.
book?
I do not have a book.
Whoa.
And I have so there's this book. It's called On Tyranny, and it's like 120 pages. The letters are super big, like right in my wheelhouse, like you know. And my mom gave it to me like 4 or 5 years ago.
What's the reading level of this book?
So I mean, it's like adult, but I don't think it's like, how do I say it? It's like advanced adult. You know what I'm saying? Like it's about.
It's doable.
What's it about?
It's about like basically authoritarian like governments in like the 19th or in the 1900s, like in Europe, and how learning lessons from those can like impact our daily lives like today.
Okay, you need a murder mystery that's about 120 pages.
Yeah,
You'll finish it.
yeah, and so basically like I my goal with that book is because it's right in my wheelhouse and I have like the sentimental value. There was like a gift from my mom. I've decided that I have to read that one first.
Okay.
And then I'll go to like other books. So I've started kind of over this break, like trying to do it. And right now, out of the 120 pages, I'm like 86 pages in.
Oh, you're almost there.
So
Yeah.
I've gotten, a nice start. And I just want to confirm for like, you got, like, I'm not like illiterate, I just I haven't been a reader, So I got to, walk before I run. But then once I get through that one,
You're free.
then I'll kind of be able to, but it was like, I've thought about this for like 3 years and it's been this huge like procrastination thing. And for 3, I've been like, I have to get through like this book. And it's funny, I mentioned On Tyranny to my mom, like when, I saw her a couple weeks ago and she like totally forgot about it. I was like, oh shit. Like, my mom and like my brother reads a ton. Like they're probably both like hundreds of books
Down
deep.
the line. Now,
Yeah. To the point where they like forgot about it. I was like, damn, that's kind of crazy. So I do want to like get to the point
I
where
need
I
to
like,
keep
read.
reading more.
Yeah. Because, that's the one thing, like, when you're a kid, you think, like, it's kind of, I don't know, I kind of thought it was whatever, like, nerdy, or I don't need to do it, or whatever.
Yeah.
But then as you start to do this, you realize that, like, all the successful people, like, read. Like, they all do.
I used to read the shit out of books as a kid.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I was always a Spark Notes
Jackson?
guy.
Yeah,
Oh, my brother liked that.
You guys
one.
ever read Percy
That's
Jackson?
the lightning.
The lightning thief.
Lightning,
So,
yeah.
I literally
I was gonna say lightning guy, but
that was the first book as I grew up. I was probably like middle school or something at that point, where like I literally just like started reading in my backyard one day because I was like so hooked on where it was at the point. But I used to be the kid in like 2nd through 5th grade where I would rush to get done with my like schoolwork so I could have 10 minutes at the end of class to read like a Mike Lupica book, gosh, I'm trying to think what else. The
You ever
one
read the Harry Potter books?
never did.
Really?
The one I read a lot
I
of
watched the movies though.
was
It's
is a series of unfortunate events.
Oh, that was
right.
really,
So
yeah.
I read that when I was in like 3rd or 4th grade.
Yeah, it was
Like I was young when I was
I was
reading,
into those.
but I never finished it all. I got to book like 11 and got halfway through, And then
What was my man's name? Count Olaf.
Count
was the
Olaf.
dude.
Mm-hmm.
We would listen to when we would drive to New York to see my dad's family. We would listen to those on tape.
Yep.
You know, and that was back when it was like a 4-hour drive and you were sitting in the back seat.
Yep.
If there wasn't anything playing to like engage you, I mean, I remember literally like looking outside at the trees to like stay entertained during the drives home, like. And so I just remember like locking into whatever that was. It was so grim, my God.
Dude,
Like,
looking
it
back
was
now, I can't
so
believe
grim.
I read all those as
I know. Like I remember, I remember thinking at one point a couple years ago, I was just whatever reason just thinking back. I was like, how do I like tell people that like that's what we would like listen to as a family? Like we're not these like bleak folk, you know?
That's so dumb.
Yeah. But that's crazy that you thought about that. That's wild that I knew about that.
we'll say audiobooks kind of go hard.
Yeah.
Especially on a long car ride.
Mm-hmm.
Kylie's the big reader.
You read a lot?
Murder mystery.
Murder mystery, yeah.
I do love those TV shows.
Oh yeah, me too.
Like all the little crime docs?
Yeah, I probably read a book every like week and a half to 2 weeks.
Wow.
Really?
Yeah.
So when do you read? Like you wake up and you read?
No, I read like at night. Like if all my roommates are sitting on the couch watching a show or like movie I'm not interested in, I'll just like go in my room with my door open and read. But I've gotten pretty quick at it. Even like I would say a year ago, I was probably like half as slow.
See, I want to get like...
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. It's just like you go through life and it's like all the people, I mean like...
It helped with my writing.
All people read.
So much.
The one
Yeah.
thing like really like about reading is like it helps fix your attention span. Because right now everything in life is like screwing
Scroll.
up attention span.
Yeah.
So that's been the hardest part is I'll start reading and then all of a sudden I'll realize like the last 3 sentences I was not paying attention and thinking about something else.
Oh yeah.
And I'll
I've
have
done
to
that.
like go back to where I was last paying attention.
I'll
get
like
that
flip
thought
a
out of
page
my mind.
back.
Yep.
And I've struggled with that forever. And the one thing that's actually really helped me, I'm trying to kind of mentally teach myself how to do it, is I used to just go back and start again, try to put the thought away, whatever it was, something random, you know? And then it would come back. Whereas now I will like pause, whatever that thought is, I'll let it like play out in my mind, and then I'll go back.
That's so real.
Kind of try to like let it live out its you know, whatever 12-second lifespan in my mind rather than shoo it away. And so that way it like didn't come back more, and that was the biggest thing that helped me because before I would just not just, you know.
Before we get back to Inside the Climb, we want to remind you that the countdown to San Diego State football is officially on.
This season marks the beginning of a new era as the Aztecs prepare for their first year in the new Pac-12 conference.
The home schedule is finalized. It all starts with Portland State before one of the nation's top Group of 5 programs from last season, James Madison, comes to Snapdragon Stadium.
Then conference play arrives with Texas State, Washington State, Utah State, and the rivalry game against the team up north.
And don't forget, Pac-12 After Dark is coming to the Mesa. Big games, packed crowds, and a chance to be part of history as San Diego State begins its new chapter.
Don't miss a moment. Secure your season tickets today and be there for every touchdown, every big play, and every unforgettable night under the lights.
Visit the SDSU Athletics website or click the link in the show notes to get your season tickets now.
Last year, like didn't lose at home at all, so that was fun. Got to celebrate each home victory at home, but even on the away games, like flying back, if we'd fly back, luckily the bus drops us off here. I'm at my computer rewatching the game right after. So yeah.
Yeah, I lost a couple times at home last year. Another feeling.
Yeah. Gosh. It's okay. That actually had me start thinking, like, we could go into this. Like, I've got a few of them, but worst home losses. Because now my mind started thinking about, gosh, just the times that after a home game I might have ran back into the office. I think the last home loss I was a part of was the NIU upset at Notre Dame.
Yeah, you were there.
Yes, I was.
Oh,
yes, I was.
Didn't think about that.
And that was definitely one of those games where you go back into the office and hate watching for the next few hours.
You guys turned it around after that, though.
We did. We
It's all about how you respond to it. Because that's the thing about how it works in this space is that you're always going to have those horrendous losses. Nobody like doesn't have them, you know. And so it's like you can't avoid the feeling because it's naturally going to happen. It's more about like the acceptance that's going to happen and like being prepared to how to respond to it, which I do think is a life trait.
And that's everything that football teaches you.
Yeah.
Is everything is a response. Everything. We don't necessarily control the events that we're handed, but how do you respond to those? And again, you look at last year's team. I think that's one of the reasons why last year felt so special was, okay, we go win a huge game against Stony Brook, blow the doors off them. That was awesome. Great start to the season. But then week 2, to lose the game we did at Washington State, it was kind of like, man, who are we really? What are we about? And then right after that, I know we had a bye week in between, but to go home against Cal and do what we did against them, that was kind of the, okay, here we are. Like, now we've responded. And then later in the season, it was the same deal, going to Hawaii, dropped that game, but then had to prep for Boise right after and get to go have just as big of a win. Like, those responses are what defines the seasons. And that's why I'm excited about this year, is just continue to see the guys handle hard things throughout fall camp and then handle these 12 opportunities and continue to just keep rolling from there. Like, we got a chance to do something special, and excited to be a part of it.
Absolutely. I think about worst home loss I was probably a part of when I was at Akron. We played Central Michigan at home, and that was a game that we really needed. We were falling out of the race in the conference a little bit, and overall it played a really good game. It was tied at 17 with like maybe a minute 40 left, and the other guys had one timeout, and so we had the ball like at their 30-yard line. Ran a, maybe it was, I forget whether it was a sweep or an outside zone, some type of outside run. We ended up getting like 13 yards. So we're kind of at the point where we're not like, obviously nothing's ever secure. We're kind of at the point when you run the ball a couple times, bleed down this clock, and prep for a field goal to go win the game. And the next play, we ran the ball, and the quarterback and the running back kind of fumbled the exchange. Both of them kind of thought the other one had it, and the ball's just kind of left there, and one of their D linemen just takes it and like straight runs to the house. Like, and I mean, it was nobody was there, and it's just one of those freak accidents that, again, every day matters and only 12 count. And the fact that happened on one account is super unfortunate, right? And like, obviously we were kind of, prepping to hopefully win the game. Doesn't go that way. And then obviously like, the whole stadium was just like shocked. We were at home and everybody was really, really excited. And that, play just kind of took the whole energy out from it. And to your point, Caleb, and it's like everybody in personnel has been through it. The tough part is like, after you lose a game like that for the coaches, they get to go inside and hate watch the game. The part that you skipped is that we actually have to then continue to host our recruits that are here, and your energy is their energy.
It matters.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're upset that you lost the game and ruining certain moments, it just drains the whole place out. And
that just reminded me, the best piece of recruiting I have ever seen in my life was actually back when we were at Cincinnati, and it was the first season there. We went 4-8. Honestly, the Cincinnati journey that I was a part of was very, very similar to this, even though I wasn't part of the first year of Coach Lewis, where year 1 we went 4-8, year 2 had a massive jump, double-digit wins, and then won a few years in a row before we were in the 14 playoff. It's kind of very reminiscent of this journey here, where year 1 there was excitement, 3-9. Yeah, there were some tough moments, but you could tell the culture was being built, led into last year to win 9 games and hopefully continue to build this upward trajectory that we feel like we're a part of. But that first season at Cincinnati, we were playing Central Florida in the midst of their it was Mackenzie Milton the year before. He was kind of Heisman finalist, but they were getting ready to go undefeated back-to-back years. And it was a home game, raining, thunder, lightning. Halfway through the third quarter, it was already like 54-14. Like, it was awful game to be a part of, and so bad to the point where in the fourth quarter they had a lightning delay and just canceled the game because it was so out of hand. And I'll never forget, I'm sitting there with the recruits, and Doug Phillips, our associate head coach, who's now the head coach at Youngstown State, he addresses this group of 20 to 30 recruits that did stick it through, and just went on a long, call it a rant speech about how Central Florida hadn't won a game 2 years before. Like, they were in the same exact boat that we were in 2 seasons before, and just about how we needed those groups of kids to really be about it, and if they wanted to be Bearcats and they wanted to be the people that changed the culture, then to really do it. And then it was crazy because you look at 1 year, 2 years, 3 years later, not only did we win American championships, but we were in the 14 play of all the different things that built up. But that response in that moment to shift what, again, these kids are cold, wet, rainy, halfway through the season. Like, it wasn't fun to sit and be a part of. But to be able to change those kids' mindsets to figure out, how do we respond to this? How do we change this? I'll never forget, that was one of the first moments in my life where I looked at that recruiting pitch. So I was like, okay, this is how it's done.
Right. Yeah, Matt Dudek always did such a great job of that, pod guest, shout out. But, like, he would always say, like, he would tell the families, like, this is why we recruit. This is why we recruit. If we won every game, we wouldn't need to recruit. And I always really liked that message, because the families are, just like in a normal visit, if, somebody's food comes out wrong at a restaurant, right, or some little thing outside of your control doesn't go right, the families are never going to remember that. They're going to remember how you respond to those moments as a staff member. And losing a football game's the same way. A family would never be smart to go to a place that wins every game when they visit, because obviously they're not a part of the team yet and it's about the trajectory. But they do make those decisions off of how united we are as a staff, how we treat the players, how we treat the coaches, how we treat each other, what our morale is like, how we treat them when things aren't going right. And some of the best game day visits that I've been a part of, to your point, Caleb, like, I'm sure that had such a profound impact on those families, because they got to see somebody deliver a great message when things weren't great. And then as a staff member, you could then probably follow up and say, hey, by the way, like, when things don't go right and your kid's here and there are down moments like there are everywhere, that's how we react. You got to see that up close and personal. What a great experience that is. Like, some of the best game day visits I've been a part of kind of have that message, and the families leave knowing that things didn't go great on the field, but, like, what a good united staff we were. And yeah, that can have sometimes a lot better of an impact than somebody that's all high because you won a football game.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
That's incredible. That's a great story too.
Yeah, man, I forgot about it until this moment. Like, there's so many things you experience just throughout the journey of football that sometimes talking through it, like, re-sparks your interest or your different things that maybe you forgot about a story along the path. But yeah, that first year was tough. And it was funny though, because all last season when I got here, like, as I was looking around, I was like, man, this reminds me just of that 2017 to 2018 Cincinnati Bearcats team. And again, I used to, like, go around, and again, it was my first year with the program, so it was kind of like you look around, it's like, are we as good as we think we are? Because again, like, there's a lot of doubt on the outside, a lot of doubt here, but felt really, really good about what we brought back, and now it's time to take that third jump and be a conference champion. And yeah, man, that my journey at Cincinnati is so reminiscent of what this Aztecs program has been these last 3 years. So I love it every day.
Thank you guys for checking us out.
Subscribe
to the pod. No, thanks for listening. Super excited for camp. Continue to follow along. We'll have a bunch of different fun episodes as we're in the month. And for those of you that are tired of hearing Caleb and I just talk nonsensically about recruiting, we'll be able to talk a little bit more ball as we get into August. Have some coaches in and talk some more shop. So just stay around as we get closer to season. Subscribe to We Believe Substack
and buy your tickets. Buy your tickets.
Single
game tickets just went live.
Single game tickets.
2 days yesterday. From where we're recording this.
Buy single games or multiple games.
Season tickets.
Play 6 of them.
It don't matter. Buy whatever tickets you got.
And then and then Caleb and I will be we'll announce some events. We'll be out in the community, just talking the same way we talk now. We would love to come meet you guys if you have ever listened to this thing and want to come talk.